Okay, so in this video we are going to do our last Zentangle pattern, and we are going to work on Knightsbridge. So Knightsbridge is this pattern using parallel lines that are drawn behind. So we're going to start drawing lines, and then we are going to draw behind those lines, and then we're going to fill in the space. The way I kind of like to think of it is the game Kerplunk, where you had the sticks in the jar and you had to drop the marble and pull out the sticks, and it kind of reminds me of like what the downward view might be on that. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to just look at our shape on our Zentangle, this part of our string that's left, and we're going to decide where do we want to put our first bridge. So I'm going to draw. I actually kind of want to think about the way that the other patterns are on here. So I'm going to draw my first part of the bridge, and I'm going to draw it kind of thick. I'm going to draw just two parallel lines, and then I am going to trace them. Okay. So this is our first part of the Knightsbridge. I'm going to go back to pencil, and I'm going to draw an intersecting line. It doesn't have to be perpendicular. It could be anyway. And I'm going to draw and then I'm going to use my imagination to continue the line. And then I'm going to pick back up my marker, and I'm going to trace it. Okay, maybe I didn't trace it very perfectly on that one, but that's okay. I'm going to just erase that so I don't go crazy. Okay. So now I have some of these lines. I'm going to start to draw thinner lines. So I'm going to choose some place where I want these to intersect, to cross, and I'm going to start to draw a thinner line. So I'm drawing behind, and before I pick up my marker again, I'm going to just try to draw a little bit more. All of the same size. Oh, I didn't draw this one over here. And I didn't draw this one over here. Okay. So you see how I'm filling up the entire part of the string. And I want to make sure I go all the way to the edge. It might be nice to use a ruler for this pattern, but I actually don't have a ruler right now, so I'm just going to be drawing it by eye. And the way that this pattern works is, like I said, you're drawing behind. So what you're trying to do is create an illusion that one thing is behind the other, so that the lines that you drew to start are closer to the viewer, and that the lines you draw later are further away, creating again that value and that depth and that layering effect. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines drawn. So I'm going to keep drawing these lines, intersecting, going behind, going one behind the other, using my imagination to complete the drawing. And this should go here. Okay. So even when I hit the border, I'm going to keep working. And every couple of sections that I draw, I'm going to trace. Like I said before, I like to go between drawing and tracing so that I don't get bored. This stops me from, getting too confused, drawing too many lines. And if you make a mistake, it's okay. Just try to go with it. All right, so now it's starting to get a little bit busy. I'm going to try and draw the lines even closer together for this next section that I draw. So when I draw the lines smaller, when I draw the lines closer together, it actually looks like they're getting further away, helping to add to that illusion of making it seem like there's value and depth and layering happening in this artwork. So and the nice thing about working in pencil is if you feel like you've made a mistake, you can always go back in and erase. Okay, so now that I have quite a few sections on here drawn, I'm going to try and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't know. There's so many sections of line that I've drawn here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use pencil to mark in the areas where I'm going to shade in black. So if we look at the 2 samples that I've already drawn, behind the bridges, there's these shaded in areas. So instead of shading them in with the marker, I'm actually going to just shade them in with the pencil because I've done a lot of pencil shading in this one, and I don't want to overwhelm this area with too much black because it's also right next to this checkerboard pattern which has a lot of black. So I'm going to start using the pencil to shade in. And when I'm shading in, what I'm looking for is the lines that make the bridge going across. And what's left over is kind of like these diamondy, square, triangle shapes. So what I'm doing now is I'm just using the pencil, using cross hatching, using scribbling motion to do the shading. I'm not going to blend with my finger because I want to keep the bridges nice and bright. And doing this in pencil allows me to notice that if I accidentally shade in the wrong area, that I can go back in and erase it. And because this is the first time that you might be doing the Knightsbridge pattern, you might actually be making a mistake, and that's okay because that's how you're going to learn. The only way you're going to learn is by practicing, and if you make a mistake in your drawing, you're going to learn from it. You're going to realize, oh yeah, I have to be more careful when I'm shading, and that's why I'm doing this in pencil, because I haven't done Knightsbridge in quite some time, and I want to make sure that I don't make a mistake like I did right here. I should have drawn a line like that. So you can see this one. He's a little crooked guy over here, but this pattern can be considered pretty difficult, and it's difficult because we're working with layering and drawing behind, and you're really trying to trick your brain into seeing something 3D in 2D, and that can be challenging, especially if it's something that you're not used to practicing. So you can see now that this kind of whole section has been developed, that there's a layering going on. I don't like the way that this one is shaded. I'm going to try and use my finger to blend it just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in and erase around the edges. Okay. I'm going to roll up my pencil point a little bit. I'm going to hold the pencil this way. Oh, it's so much more comfortable. There we go. My hand was starting to cramp in that other position. And I'm still practicing turning my tile while I am working on it. Sometimes turning your tile gives you a different perspective on your drawing, and one of the nice things about a Zentangle is it doesn't always have a way up. Ooh, this one is really crooked. And I didn't continue it. I'm gonna try and fix that right now. See this? Quite a jump. That's okay. That's the best I can do to fix it. Oh, that one got shaded kind of darkly. Started to press too hard. Someone's driving a motorcycle. It's a beautiful day to be outside. That's why I'm sitting by this window when it's open. And maybe after I finish up this pattern, maybe I'll go outside and I'll play with my dog, because I'm seeing her out in the yard through the window and she's sniffing around. It smells so nice, the air. Okay, so now I finished shading in all the behind space of my Knightsbridge. So if you wanted to take this one step further, you could shade over the pencil and the Sharpie marker, or you could choose a color to color in each one of the lines, one of the bridges for Knightsbridge. So you might try and color in some different colored stripes. I kind of like this black and white look. So what I am going to do is decide how I want to add my border. So my border is all white, but in some of my other Zentangles, I've added different details in my border. So sometimes I might do a flower that is shaded with dots, some stippling, or just do stippling, or I might try to draw a different repeating pattern like stars, or actually in this one, I kind of used the hollow shape with the crescent and the aura and then dots. So I'm going to decide in the next video how I want to add a pattern to my border.